What if I told you this ice cube right here is your mind? Our minds in this day and age, in this analytical age, have become just like this ice cube. And here you will gain a deeper understanding of how our minds have become ice-like from the way society has shaped it, and helping you understand how the two hemispheres of our mind work together will help you unlock your creative powers, inspirational powers, deeper intuition, and a connection with the wholeness, the oneness of reality. So with that being said, let's get right into the video. Your mind. It's something that we've been trying to understand for decades, hundreds of years actually, and I got a first-hand experience at the nature of the mind and how it works when I was working in the medical field. It was so fascinating. One thing you must understand is that our reality works in a certain way. It is structured in a certain way for you to think a certain way, okay? Our two hemispheres of our brain work completely different. You could almost call them two very separate brains. They could almost be two different brains talking to each other. And there's something that inspired me for this video actually is Robert Monroe's Gateway Tapes, because they talk about a process called HemiSync. And I've been doing HemiSync for about 3 months now, and literally has unlocked for me almost, I would say, like supernatural human powers that I didn't even have, okay? I'm not just like making things up here. You can check it out for yourself. Other people have attested to it. Even the CIA has taken interest in this. And so I went on a quest to understand, how does the nature of the mind work? How does the nature of the brain work? And how do our two sides of the brain analyze and interpret reality? Now, if you're watching this video and you're part of this existence that we call life, you're probably left brain dominant, just because of the way we communicate, especially in Western society. So first of all, let's go through some of the differences between the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere of your brain, and why we're all left hemisphere dominant. Now, there's some big major differences between the left and the right. The first one being, the left is responsible for analyzing. It's the analyzing part of your mind. Anytime something needs to be broken down or logically put into pieces, that's your analytical mind at work. That's the left brain. The right brain is actually more in tune with the creative, ambiguous things that happen in life. Just the ambiguous wholeness understanding of what life is. You can think of the right brain as understanding the unified whole, or known as infinite expanded awareness. And like I said, with HemiSync, this is a type of awareness that I've had grow and grow and grow, that has helped me go deep into my psyche and really understand why I do the things that I do subconsciously. Now, the right brain actually understands the connection between all things. It is the part of your mind that's responsible for creativity, holistic perception of natural phenomena, perception of deep intuitive phenomena that we experience every now and then. I talk about higher guides on this channel, and guess where that happens? That happens for the right brain. Right brain connecting to the heart, creating a heart-mind connection, allowing you to almost work as a radio receiver transmitter to connect with interdimensional beings, higher powers. The right brain is also responsible for visualization, interpreting things like patterns, colors, shapes, and trying to make sense of them. The right brain also, interestingly enough, really involves symbols. It is symbolic in its communication, which I think maybe the ancient Egyptians and ancient societies all use symbols in their communications, like the hieroglyphics. And that is interesting, right? Because that maybe gives us a sign that these ancient people were primarily right brain thinking, which is why they were able to accomplish such incredible things that we can't even wrap our analytical minds around. The right brain is the artist. It accepts reality for what it is, which may not always be a good thing, right? And this is where the left brain comes in, because the primary role of the left brain is to provide clarity and interpret what the right brain is seeing, feeling, thinking. The right brain is the place of your ego, where your ego resides, which is really interesting when we think about, the right brain being the heart-mind connection, being the connection to your higher guides, And then the left brain being tethered to earth through the ego. The left brain wants facts. The left brain's materialistic. The left brain also perceives reality in its usefulness. So even though the right brain may come up with some incredible ideas, you get the depth of your creativity, the left brain will come in and pick that idea apart and see if it's worth doing. And this is where we stop ourselves in our tracks, especially when we're out doing something that the right brain feels is the right thing to do. We hold ourselves back and don't take the courageous steps to keep moving forward, despite the left brain having its alarm bells go off saying, don't do this, try to stay safe, right? Because the safety preservation mechanism is built into the left brain. The left brain is also detail orientated. It can see every single little detail and will bring it to the surface from the right brain's interpretation. This is that saying that our minds kill our hearts. It's not necessarily your mind. It is your left hemisphere in this way of thinking that's picking apart these creative ideas that are coming up, this inspiration that's coming up. So remember, when you're embarking on that project, when you're taking that step into the unknown, and you have a deep feeling from your right brain that this is what you're supposed to do, you need to do that. Because it's your left brain that's just like killing the idea with all these analytical thoughts based on these points in its version of logical reality. Let me give you an example. The right brain would look at a jungle and see the jungle as a big unified entity of an ecosystem of animals, of trees, of plants, of flora, fauna, everything. The left brain will see the jungle as single trees, and it will look at each single tree, and it will look at each little monkey, and it's not going to be able to put together all those things together as a unified whole of a jungle ecosystem. This is how our two brains interpret things. And this is where our minds have become ice-like. You see this? This is our left brain that has frozen us in a certain state of reality. And the people who control this reality, the people who are in charge of, that pyramid that you might have seen, where you have a small group of powerful people at the top making all the rules, these people, they understand this. And they've structured our systems in a way that work to block us from the right brain. Because the right brain gives us access to that heart-mind connection, which gives us connection to the divine, and also gives us connection to infinite oneness and infinite expanded awareness. Because the way our society is structured is primarily left brain. What do we have? Scientists to pick apart every idea, instead of acknowledging science as a unified field, having many different backgrounds of scientists working together. Instead, we have astronomics, we have some other biologists, we have chemists, we have all these different separate segmented scientists, and they never talk to each other. And so nobody ever figures out these big unified theories, because you sometimes need information from a biology field combined with a chemistry field, combined with a astrology field, or astronomer field, to make things work together. And this is where things have been structured in such a way to give us a fragmented worldview, because many of us are walking through life being left brain dominant. And what is the message, the final takeaway for this video? The final takeaway for this video is, if you recognize and pick up on some of the things that I'm talking about here, and especially if you happen to be a scientist, there are things that we can do to take steps to move closer to a right-brained identity, because we're primarily left brain right now. And you do need both sides of these brains, but they need to be in balance. There needs to be a balance between the right and the left for us to be fully functioning human beings. You see, when we're primary and left brain, we also get drawn to the ego. And this is why we see so many conflicts happening, because the left brain primarily dwells in duality. It's either this or that. And you can see that in sports. You can see that in politics. You can see almost every arena you look in right now is polarized. Even our arguments between each other are very polarized, because we're very left brain dominant. And if we can see the oneness, and if we can be part of infinite expanded awareness, You couldn't imagine what types of societies we could actually build. You can imagine what kind of change you could bring in your life. Maybe you haven't been feeling creative lately. Maybe you haven't been feeling inspired lately. And this could be the solution to curing many of the issues that you're having with not coming up with ideas, with maybe not feeling as free, maybe not feeling as connected to others or yourself. So many things can be unlocked when we start focusing on this right brain and creating a heart-mind connection through the right. That's where it happens. And balancing with the left. The left is great at providing clarity. And we can rely on our brains for at least that much. But I believe we've become too far left. This has become fragmented in our worldview and has disconnected us from each other and from ourselves. And I just get so worked up. I get so passionate about this because it's unlocked incredible things in my life with a new way of thinking and understanding to a deep level of my psyche why I make the decisions that I make. Put your comments down below. Are you primary left brain? Are you a scientist and recognize this as a problem in your field? Or maybe you recognize at work you're primarily in a left brain analytical kind of mind? Let me know down in the comments below. And I would love to catch up with you on another one. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And until next time, friends, peace.